Welcome to the Pint Perspective. So, you and I got into a discussion quite some time ago about, I guess I didn't realize at the time that there was a Yuengling Light, and there's also a Yuengling Flight.
Mm-hmm.
So, I said, we should just get out a regular old Yuengling lager, the Yuengling Light, and a Yuengling Flight, and let's test them out.
The official Pint Perspective ranking of those three.
Do you want to do that blindly, or should we just line them up and?
Let's line those ones up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what we have here, if you'll notice in front of us, we have the traditional Yuengling.
Yeah.
We have the Yuengling Light, which is a very interesting can. It's the Field and Stream version.
Yeah, I like it.
Pretty cool. And then we have the Yuengling Flight. So I think my interpretation of it is, like, this would be like a Budweiser, this would be a Bud Light, and this would be a Michelob Ultra. Is I think what we're after there.
Yeah, a little similar type of beer going on.
Yeah,
makes sense.
So I think it's been a minute since I've had a Yuengling.
That's the Flight, the Light, and the traditional dark Yuengling.
So it is very interesting. They get progressively lighter in color.
You can notice it. It's like, whoop.
I will say that the original Yuengling traditional lager, as I'm watching it, you do see a lot of bubbles, so that's a good sign. It's maintaining its foamy head there.
Yep.
And then the Light still got some pretty good bubble action. The head's kind of dissipated. And the Flight, I don't hardly see any bubbles, and there is no head.
Mine's still foaming a little. That probably has something to do with the way I poured. But in any case, there you have it. Now, going into this blind, let's say we didn't see the cans, you'd be like, well, if this was a Flight you'd be like, well, okay.
I think you could figure it out.
Yeah, you can obviously, but this is such a good, if you're ever concerned about, like, well, I want to try, maybe I'm a light beer drinker, and so I like Yuengling, but I'm a light beer drinker, so this is what you got. If you're clearly the Flight is a lot lighter, for sure. I mean,
yes,
that tells you a lot just by the color of it.
It definitely puts me in the mind of a Michelob Ultra.
Very, very light. Very light. It's cool you get those options, though. Okay.
All right, so, I'm diving in for the big boy first.
Yuengling.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah.
I do like that. It's very good.
Tastes like a Yuengling. And for being a heavy beer, non-light beer, it's very good. It doesn't have a powerful, like, ooh, this is heavy,
And it does have good flavor to it. You can taste a little bit of the hops in the background there.
Yep.
Smooth. Years ago, when this first came out, not gonna lie, I drank a lot of it for a hot minute. But it seemed like it gave me heartburn, so I kind of backed away from it.
Yeah, sure.
And as time has gone by, and then they've brought out the Light and the Flight, I've had those. They're good. They didn't seem to give me heartburn, so let's hope I don't get heartburn.
It's all just, I'm gonna get into the Yuengling Light. Okay. And give it a little comparison to the heavy here, which I'm sure there's going to be a significant difference. We'll see. Yeah, immediately you can understand why it's the light beer when you compare that to the heavy.
Yeah, it loses a lot of its flavor.
Yep, I mean, I'm talking at least 50% flavor is immediately gone.
Yeah, yep. But to be honest with you, on a typical afternoon of pounding down some beers, I think the Yuengling Light's a good option.
Yeah, very good. It is, if you break it down as to what makes a light beer, they really nailed it in the head with that. So good for them.
I know it looks like I'm over here fumbling around, but I was trying to get to calorie content, carbs, alcohol content, but I'm not seeing it on the can itself. So when I bought this, it was a tall boy. It was not in a container. So
yeah, and so what you're saying is you're monkeying around.
I was kind of monkeying around, but here's what I'm going to do.
Hey-o.
I'm going to reach into the Googler and see what he will tell me.
So this is for people who are curious about calorie, carbs, things like that. If you're after a certain amount or whatever, this is what we're going to give you some numbers here. While he's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and go right to the flight, off the light into the flight, and see what we got here. And now I am very familiar with the flight, being I've drank a lot of them, and I really like them.
I
on draft.
have as well, yeah.
It's such a good beer. Their whole lineup is just insane. So here we go. Oh my goodness, yeah. When you put it side by side with everything else, it is significantly lighter.
All right, here we go.
You'll get it right when you're gonna feel it.
Yeah, there's a lot of flavor missing.
So when we're looking at this, and you take your heavy Yuengling, you get at least 50% flavor loss right here, and then I'm betting you get at least 25% flavor loss again.
I agree with you.
Immediately, just.
Okay, so the Googler tells me that in a traditional Yuengling lager, there are 140 calories per 12-ounce can. 12 carbohydrates per can. And the alcohol content is 4.5.
On a Yuengling traditional.
Yep.
You know, it's kind of crazy because being a heavy beer, you know, most of your light beers, you're going to be around that 4.1 to 4.2 range. Mm-hmm. You're only a little bit heavier when it comes to alcohol content, which is interesting to me.
Yeah, so the other interesting thing is, so Yuengling Light is 99 calories, so it's traditional, you know, or it's basically like a Miller Lite or Bud Light.
Yeah.
3.2 carbs, 4.0 alcohol per volume.
Wow.
But on the flight, you're 95 calories. You're down to it's up 4.2% alcohol. So there's a little more alcohol content in the flight versus the light.
Now comparing, what were the calories compared to the flight versus the light?
You lose 4 calories to go to the flight.
Okay.
And the carb content, 2.6, 3.2.
Okay.
So to be honest with you, I would probably go toward the light because it definitely does have more flavor than the flight.
Yeah, there's definitely some more flavor action going on. I mean, you comparing them, this is why it's fun to compare these things side by side, because you understand it. I mean,
so I'm gonna go from the flight, jump clear back to the traditional lager.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's see what we got here, because so here we are side by side. This is,
well, that's like a meal in a glass right there compared to that flight.
look at that. Look at all the wow. Okay, here we go. Light. Heavy flavor. Yeah, I mean, it is a significant amount of difference, which that's probably the plan. I mean, I think that's kind of the whole goal here. But with all that being said, Beer, I want to know, if you're reaching into the fridge, which one are you grabbing? You said you the light probably with the flavor there, but compared all these three together.
Here's the thing: depends on what I'm doing.
Right.
If I know you and I are going to be bunkying around, and we're going to be spending the afternoon drinking several of these,
yeah,
I'll reach for that light.
Yeah,
but if
sure.
I'm just going to have a couple, I prefer the flavor of the traditional lager.
Yeah, Yuengling's got a really good flavor
It's
to
very
it.
good.
Very good flavor.
Or if you're at a restaurant and you just want a beer with your dinner, it's a very good option.
Yeah, if you're kicking it back with your buddies, maybe out on the lake or sitting around the bar.
But I feel like you are sacrificing a lot of flavor to go from the light to the flight, and there's not really that much of a gain.
Yep. Yeah, there's the flavor loss is crazy. But I mean a good hot day, you're out hanging around drinking, maybe recording a podcast. The light was for sure. If you're sitting here slamming these things back, I think the light would be the one I go with. But I agree with you 100% that Yuengling lager, the traditional, that flavor is so good. Such a good flavor to it.
But the light has a good flavor, but there is a significant drop off in the flavor. But I also wouldn't recommend going through a drinking episode starting with the traditional.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be disappointed by the time you get down to here.
So I got a fun fact for anybody that cares. I used to not like Yuengling traditional. I remember the first time I had it, I was in Florida on vacation, and a relative of mine said, "Hey, you want a beer?" I was like, "Well, I suppose I like beer." I was, less experienced than I am right now, and I was not a fan. I drank that Yuengling. I'm like, wow, that is just not for me, man. And then as my beer palate expanded, I realized, like, that is a good flavor of beer. And, real quick, that's what they say about IPAs. They're like, well, you like beer. Well, here's the flavor. This has got the flavor in it, And I'm like, it's just, your palate changes, Everyone's like, it's a growing taste. It's an acquired taste. Yeah, that's exactly what happened here. And I am really catching the buzz fast.
So, I think when you tried that, at that time, you could only get Yuengling in Pennsylvania and Florida.
Well, that makes so much sense of why it was a huge deal down there.
Snowbirds used to come back to Indiana, and they would bring a case of Yuengling with them and share it with their neighbors. And when it first came to Indiana, it was a good beer. I mean, it really was. And they didn't have light and flight and all that stuff. But
yeah,
I could see why if you were down in Florida, that would be your go-to beer.
Yeah, it was, up here, I feel like a lot of the people I associated with or whatever had, you get some Coors Light, some Miller Lights, Bud Light, things like that in your fridge. Well, I went down to Florida and I'm like, Yuengling, well, isn't that just something? And so I gave her a go, and I'm like, and you put yourself in a real awkward position because that was my option. So it's either you just aren't drinking beer or you just drink it. And so you're like, and so you go through it. And I remember I was on a huge thing. Everyone talked about Yuengling. I was like, that is just not good, man. Like, that is such a bad beer. But now I'd drink it. I'd drink it.
And
I'd drink it if it's cold.
I think we should reference back, because it's probably been a couple months ago that we had Yuengling's Black and Tan.
Oh my goodness, was that on a show? Did we have those on a show?
I don't recall. I do remember that you brought some over.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it was the night before we went up to Albion to Guesswork Brewery.
Yeah, for sure.
And that stuff is really good.
Oh my goodness. But do you know our very first experience with Black and Tan was on draft?
That was amazing. Oh my gosh.
Boy, was it good. So Yuengling, all said and done, you have a great lineup of products. So good for you for being that role. You got that patriotic feel of being the oldest brewery in America. You have a great lineup of options. It does a trick for me.
Very
good for you.
So it's interesting to me that the flight is still pretty heavy. We're not getting through it very quickly.
Listen, we are 28 minutes into this podcast, and let me tell you, folks.
Tell me.
I'm feeling good.
That's good.
Here's what's crazy. Do you have heartburn yet?
No.
Well, that's a good sign. All right, you want to hand me? I'm gonna go after the traditional. You want to just throw that my way? Yeah, that'll work.
That's a good one.
I like the can, honestly.
It's a beautiful can.
Would you say that's kind of like a maroon?
I wouldn't go that far. It's a very deep red.
Deep red with like that goldish on the yeah. Mm.
Which as I do research and watch videos about beers, red, white, and gold are very popular colors for early brewers to use in their advertising for some reason.
You know
and
what?
They love to use eagles.
Well, I feel like especially for Yuengling, that's very probably appropriate for what you're going after.
Which, by the way, either that is a very large bird or a very small keg that he's about to pick up with.
Yeah, I see it now. I see that. What is that? I've never actually looked at it real close. That bird is, which is obviously a bald eagle, right? He's flying in to grab a keg. Wow, and that's a full-size keg.
That has got to be the largest eagle ever spotted.
I mean,
You think that's like a pterodactyl?
that's a pterodactyl eagle. His talons are like just barely around the keg.
Oh my god.
Good for him for being massive.
What if
Wow.
Yuengling created a drone that looked like that eagle, and he would fly around the country and drop off a keg of beer?
Wouldn't that be so fun? It's like Christmas. It's like, and they leave milk and cookies out or whatever like that, but it's like you got to leave your empty kegs out for the eagle to come pick 'em up.